Betty.
Hi everyone. Sorry we're late. We had a little bit of a setback, but you know how we get through anything. So here we are, and we're here today because we actually both have stuff tomorrow. Kim's
Megan is graduating from
high
Pope
school.
John Paul tomorrow.
Congratulations.
So, thank you.
So tomorrow's going to be a little hectic, so we decided to do today. So we're really glad whoever's here to join us, and remember we were doing Tuesday instead of Wednesday. And today we're going to be talking about finding and using your spirituality, enabling yourself to kind of move through life without all the burden that we throw on ourselves by thinking too much and being in our human minds instead of our place and our real place on the earth as a spiritual being. We are spirit being a human experience, and a lot of this happens in reflection, meditation, when you're out in nature, what you feel like, as opposed to being like in Center City with the buildings. And not that Center City can't be beautiful, but the energies are so different. Even I was explaining to a couple women the other day how different it is when you walk into a supermarket and you're in the outer perimeter of the supermarket and you're looking at all of the fruit and produce and meat and dairy and all of the very perishable items that you take your time, you squeeze the fruits and vegetables, you know, you look at the stuff on the bottles, you check the meat, the expirations, when it was packaged. But when you go in the supermarket to get toilet bowl cleaner or toilet paper or dog food or ketchup or mustard, you get in there, you get the item and you get right out. It's nothing like when you're on the outside of the perimeter, and it has a lot to do with what people know about marketing and ergonomics, and the fact that when you go into the market, if you go the opposite way of the universal energy, which is clockwise, as you're moving in to the right and going around, the universal energy is coming around like this, and it's actually slowing you down in order for you to take your time and buy those perishable items. So why I'm giving you this example is we naturally, if we just let ourselves go with the flow and work in our spiritually divine aligned place, life's just easier and we don't have to think so much. And when we don't think so much, we don't stress so much.
Yeah, I'm thinking of, even I tell you all the time that I go to the farm park in Norristown often for my walks just about every day. And I've been doing actually some walking meditations while I'm there, and I'll just, at least the last 10 minutes of my walks, I'll do 5 miles. During that time, just listening to the birds and the wind and, just really, the one day I did it last week and I was mindful of my steps, the noise that it was making, right down to every moment that was happening. And then the sun was coming in this way on a diagonal through the trees, and I just stopped and just, took it all in. I was slightly dizzy after all that. I just, because I stopped and I could feel totally present, which is so not what we do on a regular basis.
And when that happens, what you were feeling, when your mind is not scattered and overwhelmed by everything around you, people talking, driving, whatever, you get to a place of no thing where the energy is able to come through the body without any kind of disturbance or obstacles, and you actually feel it, and it can be sometimes overwhelming, the feeling, and you may get lightheaded or dizzy or whatever, but it's the most amazing feeling.
Really, I wanted to stay there. I wanted to stay in that moment much longer than we allow ourselves. But it's a reminder too to get in those states more often.
Right.
Because when you can take that time, and I think I even said it last week, when you can take that time, you can have all the craziest stuff going on all day long. You're keep trying to be you're almost behind in your whole schedule. Well, it's much better to stop and collect your moment and
Right.
be one in yourself. Take the time to get aligned rather than to continue being all out of alignment for the rest of the day, and you're just hectic.
And it only takes a moment.
It only takes a moment, and if
It
you
only
can,
takes a moment, a couple deep breaths.
the more you can do that for yourself on a regular basis and recognize what it is that you're actually doing. You're being spiritual. You're with yourself.
Exactly.
And one with your creator.
And at work, you could take like a short bathroom break, go in, shut the stall, close your eyes.
Yeah. Just collect yourself.
Really, just collect yourself and find this place. Wayne Dyer has an amazing CD out. I love him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is like, in my lifetime, he's like the pioneer of really getting the message across. And
because he talks about that space in between.
well, I was just getting to that. He has that meditation. It's wonderful. It's actually the Our Father. And he walks you through the Our Father prayer, and he has you say just each word or couple of words and stop in between and really feel that space. So he'll say, or you say, Our Father, and then you stay in that space before you get to the part who art in heaven. And you stay in that space. I mean, obviously you have to practice it while we're not on doing this, but it's just really amazing to take that time. And like I said, he does have a CD, and I'm sure you can get it on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But it's an excellent meditation, and it really does teach you about getting into that space of no thing. I bet nobody knows where no thing is. And you want to know something? It's one of the most amazing spaces that you can be in. It's almost like it lets your body just unfold in those moments and relax. And you know, in that unwinding that your body does, it gives you a chance to let go and release stuff that's on you from external places. I had a couple women in here the other day that never did singing bowls. They didn't even know what they were. So I had them play them for a couple of minutes. And I explained to them how it makes all of the energy that's very toxic and doesn't need it to be in your space. It releases like a volcano, and you can actually feel it rolling off of your body. And the more physical, worldly, human things you let go, the more you begin to bare your soul to go really deep within and find that place of divine spirituality that we all are connected to. I had a client this morning that was like, oh, I'm not intuitive. Yes, you are. You are, he is, she is, everybody is. You can't be born and not have the gift of intuition. It's a feeling, it's an energy. It's the energy that keeps you alive every day. Whether or not you chose to develop it is up to you. And it's never too late to develop it and use this intuition and use this knowing. And it took me like 3 or 4 examples before he got it. Like, he didn't understand. Like, when you first meet somebody and you shake their hand, are you going to tell me you don't feel, without a word, you don't feel you like them or you don't like them? I mean, my husband used to go, they didn't even say anything. I go, they didn't have to. I felt it. You feel it. Okay, so that didn't resonate with him, and it may not resonate with some of you. So then I said, well, what about the phone rings, and in your mind you go, oh, that's probably Kim or Karen or whatever.
Right.
And you go, oh my God, that's who it was.
Or you thought of them and then they called.
Well, and that was the other thing. That didn't resonate with them with the phone call either. I go, all right, you can't tell me that in your whole life you never thought about somebody that you haven't seen in a long time, and then all of a sudden you go into Wawa and there they are.
Yeah.
He finally resonated. He went, oh, well, maybe that. Okay. And that's wonderful. But do you understand? That is your connection energetically to that person's energy, because we are all connected, whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, whether you like it or not. We are all connected because we are all made from source, okay? The same source that gives us our pharmacy from God that I talk about all the time. That same source that gives us all of our gifts that we really truly have, that it'd be really nice in kindergarten, first grade if we learned about our gifts and then went on to, how to use them. All the technical stuff that you do have to know, the education that you do have to get, okay. But at least find out what we can do on our own first, right?
Yeah.
So
instead of shutting it down.
That's finding your spirituality, understanding these gifts that we have and using them to make your life everything you want it to be. And when you're in that divine alignment, you feel it. Life gets simpler, stress gets lowered, you're just in tune, you feel like you're in the flow. You were starting to say something and I completely interjected there. But
well, it's funny that you used the Our Father, and that Wayne Dyer used the Our Father because I was born and raised Catholic. And as you were saying that, I was thinking I would have to say it like 10 times out loud fast and maybe even write the words down before for me to actually be like Our Father and then remember the next couple of lines. I never said it that way. It was like, get it done. Like you had this amount of time, you got it done, you memorized it that way. And that to me, I remember years ago watching Oprah after school, and Oprah coming up with really kind of coined the whole spirituality and the difference between like dogma and spirituality, and it was like kind of a taboo issue in the 80s and 90s, and her coming out with it that way. And people saying, oh, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, and then people understanding what does that actually mean.
Bottom line is, you could be this, you could be that, you could be
Doesn't
whatever
matter. You
you
don't have to
think you
label
are.
yourself
You
anyway.
are connected to this source of energy, which developed everything that you see around you. There's no doubt it's scientific, blah, blah, blah. So they finally caught up. But now it's time to use it and really know and understand your connection to it. And spirituality is not religion.
Right.
Religion is a belief, theology.
Right.
Okay,
All the
but
study of.
spirituality is your very own connection to your beliefs, your knowing, your God, your creator, your whoever you desire to honor as you honor yourself.
Right.
And from there, develop, we're here to serve. We're here to learn. People can tell me any situation that ever happened to them, and whether you want to believe it or not, you asked for that lesson to learn certain wisdoms. The sad part is if you don't realize that and get what you really came for, and really make all of the things that you go through every day, and the stresses and the illnesses, and then don't learn from them to come to a better place, and then be able to pass that on to somebody and teach somebody else who might just be struggling. And that's really what our life is all about, is to help people that are struggling. I agree, there are some people that are just not ready, but then you know what? You have to understand, you can't change you can't change other people, but at least you have the opportunity to plant a seed. I have a lot of people that come up to me and they're like, oh, do you still do that herb stuff you were doing? Of course I am. Why would I not do that? I mean, when you have a passion about something, you're not going to just let it go. It's everything you breathe.
It's being your authentic self. And, we're in this 1 year all about the self.
Number 1 year, 2017, 2 + 1 is 3, 3 and 7 is 10, 1 and 0 is 1, for those of you that missed that.
Right, and so...
The number 1 in numerology, go look it up. Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's like really that learning, the intuition is knowing also what's going on inside, like what is your body telling you and what's registering to you. And so for me to have that moment in the farm park, there's so many things that happen out in nature that are, if you can listen to it or feel it. I've scuba dived in the Caribbean. I was in Punta Cana, and I'm scared to death, first of all, of going under the water. I'm like not an ocean person at all, but I am certified scuba diving to keep up with my husband at the time when we learned how to do it. So I get under the water, and once, like here, I'm freaking out. Horizon, water freaks me out. Once I get underneath, peaceful as could be. When we got down to the bottom, this was amazing. the sway of the ocean or the sea or whatever, wherever we were, was like God's breath. That's all I could think of. The sea,
It's the most peaceful place.
everything inside, and the plant life and the fish, everything was like, it was like this breath that was happening under the water. And it was so cool. And
know.
that was a spiritual moment
dive
that I
also,
had
I hear
right
you.
there, you know.
It's wonderful.
And when you can, because I was fearful to get there, like fearful. And when I got there, though, I was able to find peace in the moment. And like knowing that I was in like God's hands basically, and enjoying the breath that we were taking. How cool is that?
I hear you. Like,
Right?
I used to say if I had 10 more tanks under here, I wouldn't even come up. Because you're just so in the flow. You're moving with the water.
Mhm.
Schools of fish come up and float beside you. There's no danger. It's just such a peaceful place. And really, it's you
Mhm.
and your breath.
Yep.
Because you hear every inhale, every exhale. It's probably the place where you're the most focused on it, other than meditating.
No joke.
I remember we were diving for a while, and then my dad passed away. And right after he passed away, the next time I dove, I had a really hard time going under.
Yeah.
And one of the guides had to like hold my hand, get me under, and by the time I was about 20 feet, I was fine. And we did cave diving and everything. And I will say that when you're in that place of peace and just going with literally the flow, there's no more peaceful place on the planet than, being just with you, the breath, and no thought, and the beauty that surrounds you.
Yeah. And you can see
Like,
that
are you
when
really
they're.
taking time for
That's what I
yourself?
was gonna say.
Do you take 5 minutes for yourself a day? Or is it like when you get home and you're like too beat to even do anything? And you know what? If that's the case, I'm sorry. It's your fault. If you have 10 or 20 minutes to listen to somebody unload on you all about their stuff, you should at least give yourself 5 minutes. Because if not, then you're not honoring yourself. You're not honoring yourself. And spirituality is a lot about going within and honoring your needs first.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody the other day, a young woman who I'm really proud of, that she's come as far as she has, and she's got some drive and real, Ash, I know it's you were at my house the other day, her drive and her passion, like, for what she does, and she said to me, I'm really going to start thinking about myself first and be a little selfish, and selfish is not a bad thing. Putting yourself first, there's nothing wrong with that. It's something that all of us need to be a little more aware of doing and not make it a bad thing. Sure, when we're growing up and we want something and somebody's like, oh, you're so selfish. I mean, my God, I can remember my siblings telling me my brother once told me I was the most selfish person he ever met in his entire life. And you know what my response was? Well, then you're like the only person on this earth that doesn't really know me. And your misconception of it is really, I feel bad for you. But like, seriously, people who go, oh, you're so selfish. Why? What do you need? What is it that you want for somebody else to do for you? Do for yourself first. You can't give what you don't have, okay? If you don't have a respect for yourself, then you can't respect others. And I found that in my marriages. Like, I didn't respect myself my first two marriages. And then I really learned to respect myself from my second marriage, which allowed me to go into my third one, respecting myself. And it was a very different relationship. And I've really learned a lot. And I know, people go, oh my God, but you know what? At least, and I'm proud of this, when I wasn't happy, I moved on. And I learned to, you got to move on sometimes. And no, it's not an easy thing to do. But the reward to yourself and the self-respect and honor that you get from it, and then what that, thrusts you into is a believing in yourself that there's really nothing that you can't do. And sometimes you just have to let go, let God, which we've said many, many times.
They're your lessons in life that you need.
That's right. So if you don't have respect for yourself, you can't respect other people. If you don't love yourself, you can't love other people. If you don't serve yourself first, then how can you serve others? And I think that all of us really do whatever it is we want to do, because at the core of our desires is to help others and to find a place where we're really peaceful inside, and then be able to teach and tell other people how to get, well, not tell somebody how to find peace, but to be able to show in your actions and your behavior that doing what's right for you will bring you a peace. You know, I heard some guys talking this morning when I went to get coffee about Kevin Durant changing teams, going with the Golden State Warriors and leaving his team. Well, he decided that that was the best move for him. And it's nobody else's business, nobody else's decision. And I don't know too many other people that if they thought that was a good move for them, wouldn't have done it.
And I'm thinking too, while you're saying all that, in finding out, I mean, a lot of what I went through in my spiritual journey to get to where we are today, there was like a point where I was like, is this all there is? Like, you know, there's been numerous times in life, and you get to a point where you're like, okay, is this all that I'm here for? Like, to go through this grief or this, like, whatever.
Exactly.
It's like these patterns that keep happening. Like, what is this even about? So that was like kind of the beginning. And like, I remember really struggling with figuring out what's my purpose. Like, what am I even here for? It's not to just, because now my belief is 100% that the Creator wants you to be happy and to live the best possible life that you can possibly live, and then to contribute. So I believe
the
that
happiness comes from
right
contributing.
Correct.
And
but so like part of it was like, you know, I'm a teacher. Like part of my being here is teaching. I've coached kids sports, you know, all through my kids going through it. My daughter's 18 now. And that was like, I registered with that age group of kids, and it wasn't about the winning. It was about being good human beings on the court at all times. And we would thank the other teams. Like when I started coaching, I coached volleyball for 7 years. I played it in CYO and like grade school. It was like later that it was the sportsmanship and truly the love of it all, of yourself, the sportsmanship of each other, your teammates, like if they made a mistake, all of those things were like for real to me. It was not about winning. And my last year, we ended up being in the championships just last year, and that was my done. I was like, I think I've done everything I need to do here, and it was time to move on. And then we started being who we are in this journey that we're on, and
developing to a higher level who we are.
Yes, well, it's interesting,
getting
you know,
to
because
that next place. It's wonderful, because
Yeah.
boy, am I glad where I am now and where
Right.
I was a year ago. And you really have to think about that.
Yeah.
You know, sit down and go. Where do you want to be in 5 months, 6 months? Where do you want to be in a year? Where do you want to be in 10 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Do short or long, but like, where do you want to be? See it, get aligned, let go of any naysayers, let go of any doubts that you have, because if you want something, God's going to bring it to you, and whether you believe or not, God's going to bring it to you. And He's been amazing. I will say I'm so grateful in my life for what I do have, and I don't dwell on what I don't have. I don't even think about what I don't have, because I don't have it. And the things that I want to happen, I just see them and I just think about them. And the main thing is not to think about anything that you don't want. Only think about what you want. Things just change every day. And the minute you really get aligned, and the minute you really try starting to use these things, like how many of you that have been like following us or watching us or watched all videos, how many of you are still writing your gratitude? We still do that every day. I do that every day. Write down what I'm grateful for, whether it's the morning or the night. I get it done.
Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I don't do it.
Well, you're being honest.
I know.
And sending love.
Yeah.
Sending love to 3 people that you don't really care for. I had somebody do that the other day. They looked at me. I go, listen, it is not easy, but you know what? When you send love to people that you don't care for, it's like it lifts the burden of the negativity you were holding on to. Because if you're not feeling right about somebody, if you're not liking somebody, if you're feeling hatred or anger or whatever towards somebody, do you get it? You're holding in your body those feelings. So if you go, I send love to, and whoever it is, you let it go. It doesn't mean you have to love that person. You're just sending them love. And you know where it's coming from? All around here. It's coming from the love that comes from you. But it doesn't mean that what happened didn't happen. But you know what? It means that you're willing to let it go, because you know what? It's only putting strain on your body, on your mind, on yourself,
and
everybody around you, and all the things that you do. And I've had people that go, oh, I don't feel that anymore. Really? Well, when did you let it go? Well, I just don't think about it anymore. Well, you don't think about it anymore because it's so deeply embedded into the cells of the organ or chakra that holds that feeling, that emotion, that you're not even realizing you still have it. And look, it absolutely, without a doubt, will result in physical illness, physical pains. And, at 60, 70 years old, you're wondering why your knee hurts, and you never let go of not bending about a situation 20 years ago. Well, guess what? It finally caught up with you. And look, you can, think that this is all hookah-poo, voodoo, whatever you want to call it, but it is what it is. And if you look at an organ or a part of your body that's feeling a little bit of pain, if it's your shoulder, what are you carrying? If it's your elbow, look at what the body part does. If it bends, you're not bending. If it's holding on to something like this, what aren't you letting go of? You can't take the next step because you tripped and broke your right foot. Oh, your ankles, what can't you stand anymore? What can't you stand anymore? And you're stamping, it hurts. Look, I can preach all day long about this stuff, but until you're open and understand that you are the creator of your love, your happiness, your hatred, your everything, let all that go and allow for that divine flow of spirituality to come through you and move you through your day and take you through your ups and downs. I can promise you this, you'll be up a lot more of the time than you are down. And then up's going to start feeling really good, and you're going to really shed all that stuff, and it's going to be a very subtle change, but you'll get there. And we've worked at it. We've worked doing all the tools that we give you, writing things down, meditation, getting into that space in between.
I do this every single time, whether somebody says it's me a new ailment or something that I'm experiencing. Every time I Google the metaphysical reason for that situation, whether it's a sinus infection or a toe hurts, whatever.
Sinuses or somebody close to you irritating.
Or
close to you.
So many people have some kind of stomach issue one way or another. It's something you
not
can no longer
digest.
Right?
I'm sorry, yeah.
Or call Phyllis. I Google because I don't want to call her 50,000 times a day.
You could.
But the other thing I do, that's step number 1. Step number 2, every time I look up what is the natural remedy for what's going on. I am not a fan, unless you've just had it and need medication, whatever. My first defense is not going to the doctors. My first defense is seeing what the natural remedy is. 9 times out of 10, it's something you have in your cabinet already. And to me, you wake up in the middle of the night, you got something going on, you kind of want to start nipping it in the bud. What's causing it, and how can I start getting rid of it? How can I help my body start to process it? And then I call Phyllis, and then I call the doctor. That's what I do. Because I do know, it's my belief anyway, that there's a lot of prescription medications out there that kind of I don't know, I feel like it's pharma's got a real big hold on the country, and I'm not a fan of it, so that's whatever, it is what it is. But I definitely feel like there's more natural remedies to be able to help you get to the root of something, faster.
Well, one of the major and not to segue into this, but one of the major problems with medications is, yes, they stop your symptoms, but they have huge actions
Right.
which deplete and make your body deficient of very much needed minerals in the body. I had a guy, we looked up the blood pressure medicine he's on, completely wipes out his CoQ10, and the acid medicine that he's on, the blood pressure medicine knocks out his zinc, and the acid medicine he's on actually depletes his CoQ10. It's crazy. And they're the things that came up that he needed. Like, your side effects are nutrient deficiencies usually, but the doc's not going to tell you
Or
that.
dehydration.
Dehydration is huge.
Anytime my kids would ever say anything, whatever their situation was, whether it was an ache or a pain or like anything, I would be like, go drink some water. And they would go crazy like,
think
Mom,
about it.
that's not the answer. I'm like, you don't drink enough water. You keep putting sugar, like lemonade or that kind of stuff in water. Drink the water first. And they come up with the craziest now symptoms just to test me and bust on me, if nothing else, because they call me a hippie. But that's my first answer all the time. Go drink some water.
Yeah, drinking water is like
Huge.
really,
Because you never drink it, so
huge.
don't do that.
And when people go, what about iced tea? What about soda? Let me ask you something. When you take a shower, would you shower with iced tea or soda?
Right.
So if you're not going to clean the outside of your body with that, why would you clean the inside of your body with that? But okay, enough with health stuff. But when you do clean yourself out, it certainly allows for a much more pure energy to come through and for you to connect again, divinely and spiritually.
Right.
So,
Water and air.
start practicing these things, meditating, finding the space within, being in quiet, stop trying to change everybody, find your center, release all the things that no longer serve you, the emotions, and really, really, really find that love in your heart, because you can't give what you don't have. So find the love, the joy, the gratitude, the happiness, the forgiveness. Find all these things, and even if it takes writing down, if there's things you need to say to somebody, write them a letter. You don't even have to mail it, you can burn it. But once you get it out of here and onto paper, think of all these things that you have in you, around you, that are blocking that natural flow to happen. Come on. It makes you age. It really makes you age. So, in finding your own, find your peaceful place. And we've told you how to do that, so in the other videos. But your spirituality is really when you feel like you're one with the universe, and everything that you do is really divinely guided. So, hoping that this is all helpful, and you find today helpful for yourself. If you know anybody else that these things can help, and situations that these can help, please be sure to share.
Yeah.
And next Wednesday, we'll definitely be here for Wednesday at noon. And thank everybody for joining, whoever was able to pop on at 12:15. But we love you, and we do this because we do love you. So
have a great week.
have a wonderful week, and we'll see you soon. Love you.